Morning to you and also to the viewers at home. We're not expecting much today in this pre-trial hearing. Must remember that 3 of the 18 accused have approached the SCA to appeal the judgment by this very high court to, of course, not want to overturn the decision that Ace Magashule, Edwin Sodi, as well as Tabani Zulu wanted, of course, their charges to be quashed. So we know that, of course, there was supposed to be a date for the trial to begin, but this is not going to be the first time we are attending the pre-trial hearing. Just last year, it was a similar proceeding that will be taking place today, where we heard that there wouldn't be proceedings thereof because there was still a pending matter at the SCA. But I just want to bring now Mr. Carl Niehaus, the RET chairperson, just to take us through to today. You're always here supporting Ace Magashule. We know that today is a pre-trial hearing. How do you feel now that he will be appearing here as a former Secretary-General?
Well, I'm always here because Comrade Ace Magashule is deserving of support. He's been persecuted. He's been treated most unjustly. As you quite correctly say, he is today called the former Secretary-General of the ANC because of this trial. Because if he was not tried by these flimsy charges, he would have been able to stand for the position of Secretary-General last year at the 55th National Conference of the ANC, and I can assure you that he would have won. But he was deliberately removed because of this trial and the manner in which this trial was combined with that so-called stepping aside resolution, which was specifically rewritten for him. So you ask me how I feel? I feel that a huge injustice has been done to Ace Magashule and to the African National Congress, because they have been robbed from a true and good Secretary-General, and instead they got a charlatan such as Aphumelele Mdlalane. And today again, I fear we're going to see another postponement of this trial, because there is absolutely no merit in these charges that have been brought against Comrade Ace Magashule.
Mr. Niehaus, you mentioned that this is an unjust manner. Why are you saying that the step-aside rule was not implemented or practiced properly?
No, it was not implemented properly. Anyhow, the resolution as it was written in the 54th National Conference was very different from the one that the NEC rewrote. And even that resolution, they have not implemented on an equal basis. If it was implemented equally, Cyril Ramaphosa would not have been allowed to stand as president for the ANC in this last 55th National Conference, because by the 16th of December, he was already charged with regards to all the way in which Billy Downer and Karen Moore misconducted themselves, and Ramaphosa gave them cover. So he was not eligible to stand as a candidate, and yet he was allowed, and today he is still the president of the ANC. That is selective implementation of the step-aside resolution. That is not justice, because selective justice is injustice, and Ace Magashule has been subjected to the most and gross injustice.
Let's talk about the new movement or the party. Are you pursuing that because you've been expelled from the ANC?
No, I'm not pursuing it because I personally have been expelled, because anyhow, my expulsion was appealed and therefore my membership was intact. I took a proactive, decisive decision to resign from the ANC, because this ANC is not the ANC that I joined for full liberation and also economic liberation. This is a dead thing. It is a new liberal instrument in the hands of white monopoly capitalism and of imperialism, and Cyril Ramaphosa is an agent of imperialism. I, as a liberation fighter, as someone who joined the liberation struggle with the ideals for full liberation, cannot continue to associate myself with such an aberration.
Will we see Ace Magashule alongside with you on this movement?
We'll see. Comrade Ace is fully supportive of radical economic transformation. He will speak for himself, but the movement is moving ahead. It's got a mass base. We will be launching the movement at an official press conference next week. We will be launching the logo of the movement, and I can assure you that I've been approached by thousands of people throughout the country in every province. And as soon as we launch, we will then sign up membership. And that membership will tally in the hundreds of thousands of South Africans who truly want to see liberation, who are in favor of radical economic transformation, and who are saying the African National Congress has betrayed and failed us, and now there must be a new initiative, a new movement based on radical economic transformation that will secure the future of the people of this country.
Just one question, Mr. Nehaus. Are you saying that the NPA or the state is wasting resources by this case?
Of course. They've wasted millions of rands in this case because this case has got no merit. What happened here was simply the use of the NPA and these courts for factional party political purposes. As I've said to you right at the beginning of this interview, the intention was to exclude Ace Magashule from the position as Secretary-General of the ANC so that he could also not be in control of the management of the conference last year. If Ace Magashule was in control as Secretary-General, we would not have seen the outrageous shenanigans that took place at that conference, the buying of votes, the manipulation even of the delegates that were selected to go to the conference. This conference was an absolute aberration, and it is a destruction of the ANC, and that is why the proactive decision to resign from the ANC.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
There we have it from Mr. Carl Nehaus, of course, saying that this was a deliberate move to exclude the former Secretary-General Ace Magashule to participate to the national conference, and also saying that this was just a political suicide to make sure that the former Secretary-General Ace Magashule is excluded politically, and saying that this case rather it's unfounded. There is no evidence thereof, hence the numerous postponement. But I just want to take you back to why we're here today. We know that this matter emanates from the 2014 corruption, or rather the tender that was awarded to make sure that there's asbestos removal, the roofing for the would-be beneficiaries of more than 30,000 houses here in the Free State. To date, those would-be beneficiaries still living under the roof that has, of course, asbestos, and others have been complaining about their health that is deteriorating as a result. And also we saw that there was DA in this matter trying to make sure that the interest of the people of the province, of course, it's benefiting, of course, they are benefiting from this project. However, to date, more than 255 million rand is unaccounted for, and we see 18 people, rather 18 accused that include persons as well as companies at this very same court, and NPA still maintaining that they have a strong case, and must also indicate that they also added Dedricks last year, and also they added someone who was a witness and now is an accused, that is the former PA Muradi Cholota, who's the former PA, of course, of the former SG of the ANC Ace Magashule. So we're not expecting the proceedings to take long today, as I did indicate that there's a matter that is pending at the SCA. Therefore, it will make this, of course, these proceedings to, of course, be postponed to a later stage until there's a final decision from the SCA.
All right, Aphumelele, I know you're making mention of that matter with the SCA. I want to know from you, what impact will this particular matter have on today's hearing?
Please repeat your question.
Well, I'd like to know that the outstanding matter with the SCA right now, what bearing will it have on today's matter, on today's pre-trial hearing?
What essentially the legal representatives are going to be saying, I'm talking about the one who represent Thabani Zulu, Ace Magashule and Edwin Sodi, who are the one who have pursued the matter to the SCA, will be saying that they shouldn't be any proceedings thereof because the accused that have taken the matter to the SCA are part of this asbestos. Therefore, there wouldn't be any because they are part of this matter, and you must remember that they wanted the charges against them be quashed because they are saying the evidence the evidence that has been found by the NPA is premised to the evidence that was, of course, in the State Capture Commission. So that they are fighting that issue, saying that there are no charges against them. And we've heard for numerous times Ace Magashule standing here saying this is a political suicide for him and there is no case thereof. But also on the other side, NPA saying that they've gathered all the evidence that they need and they are not relying on the state capture evidence. They have enough evidence and they are ready for the trial to continue.